Hey guys, welcome to Bipolar Boxing. Let's do a breakdown for Jarrell Big Baby Miller versus Andy Ruiz Jr. Andy Ruiz Jr. is about a 3.5 to 1 favorite in this fight. But this is the toughest fight to pick on the card, in my opinion, just because there's so many unknowns in this fight. I mean, Big Baby Miller and Ruiz, they've both been so inactive over the last 5, 6 years for different reasons. But we just don't know what we're going to get from them at this point in their career. Big Baby Miller, we still don't know. The guy is still like a prospect. I don't know how old he is, but like he's still considered like a prospect in this sport just because he never got to make those gradual step ups. And hey, let's see how he does against a fringe top 10, top 15 guy. He never really had any of those fights. I mean, yeah, you could say like Gerald Washington years ago or something like that, but after all that inactivity and he still had that undefeated record, they throw him in there with Danny Dubois. And maybe at the time we didn't rate Dubois that high, but now we found out Dubois is a pretty fucking good fighter. So, I mean, so what does that say for Big Baby Miller? Yeah, he got dominated against Dubois, but who's to say that wouldn't have happened to Andy Ruiz if he were to fight Dubois? Because I think Dubois is a better fighter than Andy Ruiz right now. But there's just a lot of unknowns in this fight. So for picking the fight though, you just got to go with who's proved it at the top level before. And Andy Ruiz has proved it at the top level many a times. The Joseph Parker fight was a good fight, which looks a lot better on his resume now. He beat Anthony Joshua. He can take a punch. Big Baby Miller's not a big puncher. Even he's 300 pounds, but he's not that big of a puncher. I got to go with Andy Ruiz just being the much quicker fighter on his. They're both not fast with their feet, but Andy Ruiz's hands are very fast, and I could just see the whole fight. They'll both be coming forward. They don't take many steps back. Either one of them. Especially Ruiz will stand his ground. Jarrell Miller will be the one pushing forward. Whether he can push Ruiz back or not, that's a different story. But I just see Andy Ruiz landing about 3, 4 punches to every one of Miller's one, as Miller's rushing in like a juggernaut with no defense, like the Dubois fight. It's kind of just what I see happening. I don't think Ruiz has the power to knock him out, so I think this fight goes the distance. But I can't see myself betting against Andy Ruiz here. I mean, if you're betting against Ruiz here, you just think he's pretty much shot and his career's done. He's just looking for one more payday. Because that's not the case with Jarrell Big Baby Miller. He wants to fight and he wants to win this fight. And he wants to get back into the big picture with bigger fights. Andrew Ruiz, that might not be there for him anymore. He's been at the top before. And, now he's kind of fallen down. But the one thing that worries me in this fight is the way Andy Ruiz fought against Chris Arreola. That was the fight that scared me. I mean, he looked okay against Ortiz, but we don't know how washed Ortiz was after that fight. And, I mean, the Chris Arreola fight, Chris Arreola knocked him down, I think, in the second round, but he hurt him a few other times in that fight. And that kind of scares me because Big Baby Miller is going to be there the whole fight. And if he hurts Ruiz, I mean, he just comes forward. That's all he does. And if Ruiz can't hurt him and Big Baby Miller comes back and hurts Ruiz, Big Baby Miller could knock him out. And, that'll be the last we ever hear from Andy Ruiz. But I gotta think that Andy Ruiz is just taking one last run, and he's got the better skills. He's proven it at a top level time and time again, where Jarrell Big Baby Miller hasn't proven himself at the top level at all his whole career. But we just don't know if it's there for Big Baby Miller. But I'm going to assume that it's not there. I'm going to assume that the highest this guy ever gets is being like a fringe top 10 guy. And I just don't think it's there. So let's go with Ruiz by decision. And I think the scores will be pretty wide. Big Baby Miller is going to land some punches in there. But like I said, it's just going to be Ruiz constantly landing 2, 3, 4 punches. And Big Baby Miller landing one that kind of lands off the gloves or something. It's just the way I see this fight happening. But let me know what you guys think, and let me know what you're going to bet in this fight.